Welcome to World Gone Weird, where we try to make sense of, everything that's currently making us question reality. Grab your tinfoil hats, folks. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here and discuss whatever's going on out there.
All right, let's see what fresh hell the future has for us today. I've got my skepticism fully charged and ready to go.
Indeed. As always, I'm approaching these claims with a healthy dose of empiricism. Let's see if they stand up to scrutiny.
So, first up, we've got Trump and Putin planning a little phone chat about a Ukraine ceasefire. Zelenskyy, bless his heart, seems less than thrilled, probably because he lives there. I mean, talk about being skeptical, right?
Well, a ceasefire is a step in the right direction, surely. I mean, any cessation of hostilities is a positive development, especially given the human toll. We have to at least try.
Step is putting it mildly, Otto. It's more like a shuffle in the dark. Trump and Putin, cautiously optimistic. I'll believe it when I see actual troop withdrawals and verifiable agreements, not just empty promises over the phone.
Exactly. The crucial point is verification. A 30-day ceasefire is meaningless if it's merely a tactical pause for Russia to regroup or re-strategize. We need independently verifiable evidence of intent, not just rhetoric. What are the specific, measurable criteria for compliance?
Oh, and don't forget Putin wants guarantees that Ukraine won't use the pause to, gas resupply its forces, as if a country defending itself should just politely stand down while being invaded. Honestly, the audacity.
Well, from Putin's perspective, perhaps he feels Ukraine is being armed and supported by external forces, which could be seen as escalating the conflict. He wants to ensure the ceasefire is genuine on both sides.
Right, Otto, and maybe I'll sprout wings and fly to the moon. Genuine? This is Putin we're talking about. He's playing a game of geopolitical chess, and Ukraine is just a pawn. What about Putin's core demands? No NATO, recognition of annexed territories. That's a non-starter for any sovereign nation.
Precisely. Those demands are indicative of expansionist ambitions, not a genuine desire for peace. Recognizing annexed territory violates international law and sets a dangerous precedent. The root causes of the conflict, as Putin puts it, are Russian aggression and territorial claims, not Ukrainian aspirations to self-determination.
And Zelensky's red lines. He's not recognizing occupied territories, not shrinking his army. Good for him, sticking to his guns. Though, let's be real, peace at any price isn't exactly a winning slogan when your country's being bombed, is it?
He's right to stand firm on those principles. Giving up territory or demilitarizing would leave Ukraine vulnerable to future aggression. A lasting peace needs to be built on security guarantees.
Security guarantees from whom? The same international community that stood by and watched Russia tear up treaties and invade sovereign nations for the past decade? Give me a break. Words on paper mean nothing without credible enforcement.
The issue of enforcement is paramount. Who will monitor the ceasefire? What are the consequences for violations? Putin's rejection of NATO-aligned peacekeepers is telling. It suggests he's not interested in impartial oversight.
So, basically, we've got Trump playing peacemaker, Putin playing games, and Zelenskyy stuck in the middle, trying to save his country. Sounds about right for 2025, doesn't it? What a mess.
It's a complex situation with no easy answers. But it's imperative that dialogue continues, even if the path to peace is fraught with challenges. We can't give up hope.
Hope is a wonderful thing, Otto, but it's not a strategy. I just hope the administration isn't naive enough to think Putin is suddenly going to become reasonable. He's playing for keeps.
We need to analyze this situation with a clear understanding of Putin's historical actions and stated goals. A purely optimistic approach, devoid of critical analysis, is dangerous and could lead to further destabilization.
All right, moving on from the potential powder keg that is Eastern Europe to, well, another potential powder keg closer to home. Trump's invoking the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelans. Cue dramatic music.
The Alien Enemies Act? Isn't that from, the 1700s? It feels like a bit of a drastic measure, especially with all the questions about due process. Everyone is entitled to their day in court before they're deported, right?
Due process? Please. These are, according to the administration, dangerous gang members, members of the Tren de Aragua. National security trumps individual rights, doesn't it? Or at least it should.
That's a dangerous slope, Jimmy. Eroding due process, even for those accused of serious crimes, sets a precedent that can be easily abused. How are these members being identified? What objective criteria are being used? What about the potential for misidentification or guilt by association?
And the White House posted a music video of these guys being handcuffed and deported, set to closing time. I mean, talk about tone deaf. It's like they're trying to dehumanize these people, turn them into reality TV villains. ASMR deportation videos, anyone.
It definitely seems to lack empathy. Framing human beings as criminals being processed in this way is a bit jarring, to say the least. It can fuel division and hatred.
Empathy. These are criminals, Otto. They're a threat to our society. What about empathy for the victims of their crimes? That video, while perhaps a bit tasteless, is sending a message. We're not going to tolerate lawlessness.
The video, regardless of its intent, raises concerns about the dehumanization of individuals. Framing human beings in such a manner can lead to a reduction in empathy and an increase in prejudice. It also detracts from the complexities of immigration and criminal justice issues.
And get this, the US paid El Salvador $6 million to take these deported Venezuelans. $6 million. Seems like a really roundabout way to save money on maximum security prisons.
That's quite a sum. Are there no other solutions? Couldn't that money be used to address the root causes of crime and immigration in Venezuela? Or used to provide better legal representation for these individuals?
It's called burden sharing, Otto. We're paying El Salvador to deal with a problem we don't want. Besides, it's pennies on the dollar compared to the cost of housing them here. It's cost effective.
The economic argument needs to be rigorously examined. What are the long-term costs and benefits of this arrangement? What are the potential consequences for El Salvador, a country already facing its own challenges? A responsible approach requires a comprehensive cost-benefit analysis, not just a superficial calculation.
And then there's the whole judge's verbal order versus written order kerfuffle. The administration claims the deportations happened before the written order was released. So, is it a legal technicality or a blatant disregard for the judiciary? You be the judge. Pun intended, obviously.
It seems to be a very fine line, legally speaking. Regardless, if the spirit of the judge's order was to halt the deportations, shouldn't the administration have paused, even if there was a legal loophole?
Loopholes exist for a reason, Otto. The administration is simply acting within the bounds of the law. If the judge wanted to be absolutely clear, he should have issued the written order faster. Bureaucracy matters.
This situation raises fundamental questions about the separation of powers and the rule of law. Disregarding a verbal order, even if technically permissible, undermines the authority of the judiciary and suggests a willingness to prioritize political expediency over legal principles.
Oh, and one more thing. A Brown University kidney doctor got deported because they found sympathetic Hezbollah-related content on her phone. So, now possessing controversial opinions is a deportable offense. Are we policing thought crimes now?
That's really concerning. It sounds like guilt by association. Having certain beliefs, however unpopular, shouldn't automatically qualify someone as a national security threat. It's a slippery slope.
Sympathetic content. Hezbollah is a terrorist organization. If she's expressing support for them, that's a red flag. We can't afford to be complacent about potential threats, even from seemingly harmless academics.
The key question is, was there any evidence to suggest that Dr. Alawai posed an actual threat? Possessing sympathetic content is not the same as actively supporting or engaging in terrorist activities. We need to be very careful about conflating beliefs with actions, especially when it comes to matters of national security.
So, to recap, mass deportations, legal loopholes, thought policing, and a whole lot of taxpayer money being thrown around. Just another day in the wonderful world of 2025. Anyone else feeling slightly dystopian?
It's definitely disheartening to see these events unfold. But I think that focusing on potential solutions, on advocating for fairer policies, and on supporting vulnerable communities can help us push back against these trends.
Solutions? The solution is to enforce our laws, secure our borders, and protect our citizens. Sentimentality and hand-wringing won't solve anything. These are tough times that call for tough measures.
A truly effective solution requires a multifaceted approach grounded in evidence-based analysis. We need to address the root causes of immigration, improve border security, while upholding human rights, and ensure that our legal system operates fairly and impartially.
Okay, let's move on to something slightly less terrifying, shall we? Trump says Xi Jinping is visiting the US in the not too distant future. Is this a diplomatic breakthrough or just another reality TV plot twist?
A visit from Xi could be a positive step towards easing tensions and fostering cooperation on issues like climate change and trade. Communication is key to resolving disagreements.
Cooperation? With China? They're our biggest economic and geopolitical rival. This visit is probably just a photo op, a way for both leaders to look strong. I doubt anything substantial will come of it.
The key question is, What are the specific objectives of this visit? Is there a clear agenda focused on addressing key areas of contention, such as trade imbalances, intellectual property theft, and human rights concerns? Or is it merely a symbolic gesture devoid of concrete substance?
Maybe they'll just bond over their shared love of golf and questionable hair. You never know. But seriously, a trade war is looming, so hopefully they can at least prevent that from happening.
A trade war would have devastating consequences for both countries and the global economy. Hopefully, this visit can lead to a more balanced and equitable trade relationship.
Equitable? China plays by its own rules. We need to stand up to their unfair trade practices, even if it means some short-term pain. It's about long-term economic security.
The economic impacts of tariffs and trade restrictions are complex and require rigorous analysis. A protectionist approach may offer short-term benefits to certain industries, but it can also lead to higher prices for consumers, reduced competitiveness, and retaliatory measures from other countries.
And finally, Trump is warning Iran about consequences for Houthi attacks. Is this saber-rattling or a legitimate threat? Place your bets now.
Escalating tensions with Iran could have disastrous consequences for the entire region. Dialogue and diplomacy are always preferable to military action.
Iran is a state sponsor of terrorism. They're funding and arming the Houthis, who are disrupting international shipping lanes. We need to send a strong message that this behavior is unacceptable.
The connection between Iran and the Houthis needs to be carefully assessed. While there is evidence of Iranian support, the extent of their control and influence is a matter of debate. Military action should only be considered as a last resort. After all, diplomatic options have been exhausted.
So, are we heading for another war in the Middle East, or will cooler heads prevail? It's hard to say, but one thing's for sure. 2025 is shaping up to be another wild ride.
Let's hope cooler heads do prevail. We need to find a way to de-escalate tensions and work towards a more peaceful and stable world.
Peace through strength, Otto. That's the only language these guys understand. Weakness invites aggression.
A sustainable peace requires more than just military might. It requires addressing the underlying causes of conflict, promoting economic development, and fostering mutual understanding.
Well, folks, that's all the weirdness we have time for today. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the absurd. Remember to question everything, stay informed, and try to maintain a sense of humor, because let's face it, we're going to need it.
Remember to stay hopeful and advocate for a better future.
And keep your eyes open. The world is a dangerous place. Don't be naive.
And always, always demand empirical evidence. Until next time.